welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for today's tutorial. I am doing a video in collaboration with Miss Steph Willis here on YouTube. She films makeup tutorials and she also does fitness and baking and all things beauty, and I really like her and her channel. So for our collaboration, we are filming similar fall looks using a few different products, and I will be sharing all those products with you guys here in the video. I really hope you guys enjoy this tutorial, and if you want to see how I achieve this look, then just keep watching. So I'm going to start with my foundation today. It's just how I like to do it, but of course you can start with your eyes or your face or whatever you like to do. I'm going to be starting with this Becca Backlight Priming Filter. It gives you a very nice glow to the skin, and the Too Faced foundation that we're going to be using is pretty matte, and I don't like to be too matte, so we're going to start with this guy. And I do have my skin moisturized as well. For foundation, I'm going to be using the Too Faced Peach Perfect Foundation. This is pretty new, and it is a oil-free, 14-hour wear, oil-controlling, photo-friendly foundation. And I have used it a few times already. I am going to mix it a little bit with my It Cosmetics CC cream because the color is just a little bit off right now. I'm pretty pale and wasn't totally sure what color to pick up, so this one's a little bit more orange than I would like to wear. It's also infused with peach and sweet fig cream. I have smelt a few of their products and they all smell like peaches, and it's amazing. So I'm just pumping a little bit on the back of my hand, and I'm gonna add a tiny bit of this CC cream to it. And I'm in the shade medium in the CC cream, and I picked up the shade Nude in the Too Faced foundation, which works just fine. I mean, I could probably get away with just the Too Faced foundation, but since I have both and it creates a good color for me, I'm going to use both. So I like to just spread this across the face like this and kind of work it around with my finger. And then I take my damp Real Techniques sponge here and we're going to blend it out and press it into the skin. I feel like that's how I get the best coverage. Rather than dipping it right into the foundation with your sponge, I feel like the sponge soaks up way too much product that way. And I do have a little burn right here. I actually have one right here too. I cannot straighten my hair without burning myself. I'm not even kidding. I'm thinking about doing a review on this foundation alone and wear it all by itself, test it out for like 12 hours. So again, I'm just applying and blending over here. This foundation blends out really nicely. It's a really nice consistency. It's not too thick, not too thin. I was a little bit worried that it was going to break me out because of the way that it was smelling. I was worried that, you know, it was really highly fragranced and that it would probably break me out, but I have not had any issues yet. And I'm just taking a little bit and going back over any spots where I just want a little extra coverage. So I went ahead and did my brows off camera. I used the NYX Precision Brow Pencil. It looks like this. It's kind of a newer one for them. It has the angled tip on it, like the Anastasia angled one. And I really like the consistency and wear of this guy. So if you guys would like to see an updated brow routine, I would love to do that for you, and I'll show you everything that I'm doing. I actually need a brow wax, so they were a little bit crazy today. And now I'm just going to throw some of the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel on them. I love this stuff. It's like glue. Now we're going to conceal and highlight a little bit, and I want to get rid of these dark circles. So I'm going to use my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, and I am in the shade, oh goodness, there's no name on this, but I have an extra. I am in the shade Light Sand. And I like to just throw this where the light naturally hits the face, and obviously under the eyes for those dark circles. And I do not use a lot of this product because I do naturally have like lines and wrinkles under my eyes, and so it does settle if I use too much, and a little bit of this goes a long way. But I love it. It is a great concealer. And again, going in with my damp beauty sponge, and we're going to start blending that out. And I like to pull the product down a little bit, even under my eyes, because I don't even need to put it right up in there because, again, it will crease on me. So I try to put as little product as possible right underneath the eyes. So I'll blend it downward first, and then I even bring it on my eyelid for priming. Most concealers are a great eyeshadow primer. I mean, unless it's like extremely creamy and oily, which I'm not sure what concealers that would be, but most concealers can be used as an eyeshadow primer as long as you just blend them nicely on the eyelid and then set them with the powder so that your eyeshadow goes on smoothly after. To set all that concealer in place, I'm using the RCMA No Color Powder. I have it into my It Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores jar because it comes in a huge thing and this was empty. So it's actually the RCMA No Color Powder, but it's in this little thing so it's easier to use. And I actually have been using my sponge to set a lot more than a brush because I noticed that it just prevents creasing a lot more and keeps it looking really like hydrated. It can tend to start looking a little dry if I use a brush, so just put a little bit on your sponge and press it under the eye. Really anywhere you put that concealer you want to put the powder. Now this foundation isn't super tacky. Like I said, it's fairly matte, but it's not like totally matte, not a total powder finish. So I'm going to take a little bit of my Maybelline Fit Me Powder and just set the rest of the face so all my powders go on smoothly. And I'm going to be using the Real Techniques multitask brush just to set my face. Pretty much anywhere we didn't put powder yet, you want to apply this powder. And I'm trying to be very light because, like I said, I don't like to be super matte, so I don't want to overset my face and look very cakey. Okay, so I'm going to grab my e.l.f. tapered blending brush and just sweep away any excess powder that's sitting under the eyes. And we'll also grab a little bit more of that powder and really blend the eyelid so that it's ready for our eyeshadows. Okay, we're going to jump into the eyes, which I'm very excited for. I'm using the Morphe 35R palette. It looks like this. Very warm, great fall colors. They're all pretty dark though, so I'm actually a little bummed out that it didn't have one more brighter shade as like a highlight, because most of these, this is a matte yellow and it still just doesn't work for a highlight for me, so I may have to jump into one other palette just to get like a highlight color or something. But as far as the warm browns and stuff in this palette, they are gorgeous and the consistency of the shadows are amazing. I've done like one or two looks so far with this palette just to test out some of the eyeshadows, and they are great. So I'm thinking I want to do a very warm and kind of berry look and then like a pop of gold on the lid. So I'm just going to grab a transition shade. I'm going to go ahead and use this guy. These two right here, they're very, very similar shades to each other. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of both of those on a Sedona Lace 8. I wrote up the number, but it's like 863 blending brush, I believe. But any large, fluffy blending brush like this will do the job. And we're just going to throw this into our crease. Making sure we blend that really well, since that's our transition shade. You want to bring it up pretty high. As you can see, these eyeshadows are super creamy. They blend really well. I'm not having any like harsh lines or skipping. I'm just going to keep building this up until I like the intensity. Okay, so the next shade I'm going to go in with is this guy right here. He's a little bit darker, a little bit more warm. For the next shade, I'm going to switch brushes, and we're going to use the Morphe M433. It's a goat hair, and it's a little bit more precise, and still a little fluffy though. You don't want to go too precise right now because we're still working up our colors. And I'm going to start throwing this into the crease as well, but I'm going to keep this one a lot more tighter in the crease. And I'm also bringing it right here on the outer part of the eye and then blending in. I like to put my brush down right there and then start blending out and in. And again, I'm just building this up, so I'm starting with a very small amount of product and then working my way in. And with this look, you can totally keep it rounded, or you could wing it out a little bit and flick it more outward that way. I'm kind of doing it in between. I'm not going too round, but I'm also not purposely trying to create like a cat eye. So now I want to pick up a darker shade, and we want to create some definition right here in the outer corner. I really want to build up to that really dark kind of red burgundy shade, so I'm going to pick up this shade right here. And I don't know how dark it's actually going to be, so I may have to go one shade darker from another palette after this one, but we will see. I'm picking up the same Morphe brush with that, and we're going to just keep that right here tight on the lash line and blend it up just a little bit, just so it blends with the other shades. Yeah, see, that's not super dark. It's just a little bit darker than that other shade. So I'm probably going to reach into my Jaclyn Hill palette and grab a nice dark berry shade. And I really like to use circular motions when I'm blending right here in this area, just because you don't want to be like going crazy up in there if you don't want the color to be all up in your crease. So I just like to do small circular blending motions right here. And again, we're going to blend some more with our fluffy brush. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into my Jaclyn Hill palette just so I can get a little bit darker berry shade that she has here. This is a gorgeous palette. If you haven't picked it up yet, I believe they're still in stock at Morphe.com, and they are amazing. I mean, you get literally a little bit of everything in this palette, and they are such great quality. So I'm going to pick up, I'm going to go ahead and pick up this shade right here, which I do not know the name because I did not get an insert with the names of the shadows on them, unfortunately. I'm not really sure if that was like a mishap or if I was supposed to get one or not. I'm thinking maybe just not all palettes got them, which sucks because I'd love to know what these shades are called. So I'm picking up that red burgundy shade, and again, just going to pack it right here. Yeah, that's what I want. A little bit more dark and berry to match my background. Now if you get a little carried away like I just did there, just take your blending brush and softly diffuse that. These colors are so pigmented, so you really have to be careful with how much product you put on your brush. So I'm going to take up one of those first transition shades that we started with and get my Morphe brush here and start smudging that on the lower lash line. And I like to connect it to the eyeshadow right over here. Now I'm going to take just a nice flat skinny square brush like this one. I have no idea what this is. I think I got it in my makeup kit from school. It might have been an Ofra brush, but super cheap, not that great of quality, but it gets the job done. So just grab a nice flat skinny brush like this, and we're gonna dip back into one of the darker shades. I'm gonna take the berry one that we grabbed right there and just put a tiny bit on the brush. And now we're gonna press that really tight under that lash line to give us some definition. And I have to kind of get in here to do this. I just like to kind of press and then shimmy it along my lash line. And we're going to grab that Morphe brush again and just blend that. Alright guys, we are blended. So let's move on to our lid shade. I think I'm just going to dip into a few of these goldish yellow shades. Just kind of grab a few, create my own color there, and pop this on the lid right here. And I am using my finger because that's seriously one of the best tools for pressed kind of shimmery eyeshadows like this. You'll get the best pigment this way. That is really pretty. A little bit more orange though. So I'm literally just picking up this orange and this yellow, and I'm kind of mixing the two for my perfect shade. Now just to make sure that everything's nice and blended right here, I'm just going to grab that brush with a tiny bit of product and just blend the two together right there. So for my inner corner highlight and brow bone highlight, I am going to reach back into the Jaclyn Hill palette. She has one of the most beautiful highlighting shades in this palette. I cannot get enough of it. Both of these shades right here are stunning, but I tend to use this one a little bit more. It's actually a little bit more subtle than that one, and it looks so beautiful. And I'm going to apply that with my Sephora small shadow brush. It's just a nice thin packing brush like that. And I'm just going to press this right here in the inner corner. Look how pretty that is. You can turn your brush sideways, and then that will help kind of blend it with your crease shadow as well. So I'm going to kind of jump around here. I'm actually going to go back to the face and finish my powders, and then I'm going to set my face with the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Setting Mist, just so we can get all the powders set in and not look so cakey on the face. To warm up the face and do a little contour, I'm going to use my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer. I recently have been using this and I really like it. It's a great color. It doesn't, let's see, medium deep matte bronzer it says. And it's really pretty. And it smells like chocolate. And I'm using the Morphe M556 brush. Technically, I think it's a blush brush. I kind of use it for blush and contour because it just fits perfectly right here in my cheek. And a little goes a long way with this product. And we're going to throw this on our forehead as well. And I like to put it on my chin and then blend it through the jawline here. For my blush, I'm using the Rockateur from Benefit. It's a really pretty kind of just rosy pink shade, and it has a little bit of glow to it, no glitter. It's just kind of like a healthy shimmer that it has. I really, really like it. Okay, so we need to do some highlight. I'm going to use my Champagne Pop out of my Becca and Jaclyn Hill palette. And I'm going to use this setting brush from Real Techniques. Just going to bring some glow back into the face since we used a matte foundation. Okay, so we're going to grab that mist and just set our face to death. Okay, going back to the eyes, I'm going to take the NYX Matte Liquid Liner and just throw that right on my waterline, just so we have something to kind of hide the false eyelashes that we're going to apply. I'm not going to do a crazy wing or anything today. I just want to give myself somewhere to put those lashes. I'm going to put on a little bit of mascara just so they will blend nicely with our lashes, and I'm using my Loreal Telescopic in Carbon Black, and I'm going to curl them just a little bit. I'm going to throw on my false lashes off camera since it's so boring to watch someone put on false lashes. And I'm using the style Noir Fairy Light from House of Lashes. This is my first time using this particular style, so I'm really excited to see how they look. Okay guys, lashes are on. As you can see, they are very dramatic, very pretty, but very dramatic. Definitely not like a beginner lash. They have a very thick band and were pretty tricky to apply, but they're really, really pretty. I'm going to apply some bottom lash mascara. You guys know I love the Clinique bottom lash mascara. It has a tiny, tiny little wand that fits perfectly in the lashes, and it's long wearing so it won't smudge throughout the day. So for my lip shade, I've kind of been debating on a few colors. I have some of these Gerard Cosmetics Hydra Mattes, and I'm thinking about doing the shade Sedona. It's kind of a more orangey tone brown, not something I would typically wear, but I want to give it a try. And I'm going to line my lips with the MAC Oak Lip Liner quickly. Okay guys, the look is complete. My lipstick is done. Also, I'm very excited that I was able to collaborate with Steph Willis. I'm so thankful that she was willing to do that with me. And check out her channel if you are interested. She has amazing videos. I really love her. She's a doll. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time. Bye.